Alright, so we're here on Wildwoods. We've got WadeLebron picking Norse this time. He's played Egyptians unsuccessfully in the first two games, so he swapped to Norse. And Andres in the green here. He's playing Egyptians after successfully winning games as Romans and Persia. So nice mix of civs from him already. Wade going for 2 storehouses. Doesn't have the wood for hunting dogs straight away, while Andres does. So he's taken that, got 2 storehouses. Good scout there by Wade, actually. He swapped back just in time to see the storehouse as the scouts come past, so control there by him. Going for stone himself, so I wonder if Wade's going to try and play a more standard game this one. He's not getting hunting dogs yet, because Norse, admittedly, they don't get an early hunting dogs timing, so Wade is going to take it now, funnily enough. So the other civs, like Egyptians, Greeks, Persians, the ones that start with 200 wood, you can go for 2 storehouses and hunting dogs straight away. With Norse, you've got, and Romans, you've got to gather another 50 wood, no, another 25 wood. Same with Babylon. Babylon don't, because they already start with the ox cart, so they've only got to spend one ox cart and get hunting dogs anyway, so they can get it as well straight away. In fact, theirs is the quickest. So it's fairly conventional 2 town center openings here from both players. Wade not going to go for anything too cheesy this one. No early game 2 barracks temper timing. I do like the idea of the build, but I think he just needs to make sure he basically hits ASAP. In fact, even play like a standard fast barracks opening and harass with spears. Go to H2. Instead of going for the second town center, go for another barracks in the armory and just keep putting the pressure on, because you're only ahead while you're ahead on army when you play like that. The moment your opponent wins a fight over you, you've lost, basically. So you need to more or less stop them ever hitting a critical mass. Andres, H2. Going to be able to go for the second town center straight away. I do like where he's got it here. In control of 2 berries, the hunt, the gold, the stone. Locks down another stone there. So it frees him up immensely. Wade, in the meanwhile, this is a good spot for his too, because it gives him access to the central wood, which Andres doesn't really have complete control of. Because there's not a huge amount of wood on the outskirts of the map. It's one of the maps where you actually can be quite limited on wood. So there's a deceiving amount. Considering the map's called Wild Woods, you'd think there'd be lots of trees everywhere, but it's one of the few maps you actually see people get cut off from any source of timber. So 2 TC openings for both our players. I have to wonder if Andres is going to try and sneak straight to H3 here, because Egyptian H3 is really quite solid, and I think H2 in this matchup, ultimately, it probably should favour Norse. It's hard though, because typically in matchups that devolve into infantry versus infantry, Norse's get out of jail free card is being able to transition into a stables unit for cheaper in terms of the unit cost and population. So you can field raiders to actually give your throwing axemen something to tank for them. But in Egyptian versus Norse, it's hard, because if they get camels, you have to play around spears. And then they can get throwing axemen, you add I mean, they can add axemen, you add throwing axemen, but ultimately they've got the mobility. And you've got to go to age 3. Try to get berserkers, horsemen, champion raiders to deal with chariots when they get age 3. Wade might actually be going for the quicker age 3 here. There's no military production at all yet. So Andres has got a single stable, so not a huge investment in military either. He's already gathering stone, so I think he wants a quick age 3. But Wade's just going straight for it, completely naked. Which is quite impressive, considering this is the opposite to how he usually approaches the game. So Andres now is going to have the early game military advantage, but start to trail behind in terms of economic potential. 26 vills to 30 though. So, and there's already a couple of camels in the mix here. More production for Andres going up. 2 more barracks. So starting barracks here for Wade, but it's outside of town centre presence, so it's very dangerous. He's north, so he could have the scout building this. I mean, I like this here because he actually sees units coming through, but Andres is just patient, and on top of that, he could have the scout building this and have it here. So Wade's not actually looking, even though the scout's in a good spot to pick this up, and the villager is gonna not be able to finish this in time. So it's a good catch there by Andres. Wade's age 3 is kicked in though. Barracks is going to take a little while to get down, but it's so close to being finished. This is really tough because Andres will be able to take this out quicker than normal and basically get 180 of the 200 wood. Wade's only going to get like 200, going to get like 20 back for that, and it doesn't have the bonus. I mean, it takes bonus damage from melee while it's unbuilt. Wade's got so much gold in the bank. Is he going to be able to go for throwing Axeman Champion here, maybe? But I mean, he's probably best off just getting Berserkers, really, to deal with the camels. Because throwing Axemen, they're good against the Axemen, but they're just useless against camels. Temper on the way. Second barracks finishing up. Andres is housed for the minute, but he's still got plenty in production, so he'll be fine to keep on producing. Wait, no military yet. He's getting Berserkers. Probably wants to add a range here. He's waiting for his armor to kick in. Get both those armor upgrades at once. Andres going to go to age 3, give him access to siege, to champion upgrades. And this pressure that he's been applying has been good. It's stopped Wade from getting an age 3 town centre out and zooming ahead on villager pop. Because I think Wade was ultimately trying to do a reverse of what had been done to him in the first 2 games, where he sort of went for an aggressive build, didn't quite pressure as much as he needed to, and Andres just managed to get quicker into age 3, quicker into a high villager count, and just held off 1 or 2 attacks both games. This is good for Andres to be able to pressure this town centre, maybe get a couple of villagers. Wade can look at going in here pretty quickly. Oh, Wade needs to add more houses, there we go. So he's pop-capped himself a bit heading into this, which makes this a bit harder because he could have had a couple more units here to help take this out. I mean, help clean this up, stop the town centre going down. Andres is going to retreat here because it's not a great fight. But if he can pick off an individual berserker or two at the start, that'd be ideal for him. Trying to go for the best surround he can, because the berserkers have got a crazy splash, and if they can get on top of the priestesses, they can turn this fight around. These big tanky boys, they are very expensive though. One of them made insane there. Ooh, so Wade's got a bit of work to do to clean this up, to save this town center. Don't know if he's got more army heading in here. Was he not producing that whole time? So I like this army that he's got, but at the same time, he needs something to deal with the fortress. He's going to have to get a fortress of his own to get some Farb Yoda, or go to age 4, get Palintinons, or get Berserker Champion to really be able to deal with buildings. So Andres, once again, really solid all-round macro play. 65 vils to 48. Getting elephants now, which will be really quite good. Trade fairly evenly with berserkers, and they'll be able to walk over the Hajar. Actually, they do slightly counter berserkers, don't they? Now once they get champion. Maybe an infantry bonus? No. And these guys don't have a cav. So it should be fairly even. Andres is just going to go for it. He's not got a huge amount of population, but Wade's got even less at the moment. Trying to get the best surrounds he can, and he is in range of his fortress, so this is kind of ideal because it's doing more damage than the town center and tower are, I think. The last couple of berserkers are going to fall here. And Wade is running out of gold. He's got a lot of gold gatherers at the moment, but it's still not quite enough. Well, actually, no, it looks like, yeah, no, Wade is holding for the moment, but chariots in the mix are going to make this difficult. He's going to have to try and add skirmishers or raiders here. Four berserk production is not going to be cheap. He's not going to be able to sustain this for terribly long. When he's copying that fire from the fortress, it's not going to be great for him. He should have the damage to stop the siege tower taking out the tower, I think. Yeah, he will, just. So it's an impressive hold there. But 80 villages to 54. The war rally does get the tower down. It's starting to look a bit dire here for Wade. He's getting more berserkers, getting place some mining, but let's add some more production buildings here. Got some good armory tech here from Andres. Got the melee damage. From age 3, got age 2 ranged and melee armor. GG. Andres takes the game and the series. So unfortunately, Wade gets taken out in straight sets. Did go for that quicker age 3, which is an unusual style from Wade, considering he's usually the player to play more greedy. I mean, play more aggressive and Andre is normally the player to play more greedy in this sort of situation. Yeah, adding the chariots there, I think, ultimately made that hard, because the Berserkers beat out the Axemen, and Wade did a good job with armory upgrades there. So GG, and thank you guys all for tuning in. Sorry, it was a bit of a budget setup today.